Unit 5 Study Guide. Number 1, true or false? Rate of change and slope mean the same thing. That is true. Number 2, find the rate of change for the function below. We're going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To the right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Rise over run, that's negative 5 over 4, which is C. 4 iPod cases cost $48 each. What is the unit rate? When I divide those, I get, that's $12 per iPod. 6 stretchy book covers cost $9. And we want to figure out how many 8 cost. So we're going to cross multiply and divide. 72 divided by 6, that is $12 per book cover. For 8 book covers, I apologize. For number 5, Ryan earns $55 for working 7 hours. Nash earns $32 for 4 hours. When we divide those, 7 will go into 55 7 times with 6 left over. And it'll go into 68 times. 4 will go into 32 8 times. 8 is bigger than 7 8/10, so Nash earns more per hour. Amazon is selling scarves $12 each with a flat rate of $7. So that's Y equals $12 for each scarf plus $7 that you only pay one time whenever you ship it. 12 times 8 is 96 plus 7 is 103. So they pay $103. Number 7, true or false? This graph represents a direct proportion. I know we have not heard that term yet. That will be for our next unit. But to preview, direct proportion means that it passes through the origin. This graph does. So yes, because it passes through the origin. And number 8, we have a table that we need to figure out which one passes through the origin. Well, when we look at A, when x is 0, y is 3. So it automatically cannot be A because this cannot pass through the origin. For B, we're changing 4 minus 2 over 2 minus 1. That is 2 over 1, which is 2. So let's figure out what our starting point is. 2 my y equals my slope times x plus b. 2 times 1 is 2. Bring everything else down. Subtract 2 from both sides. When we plug this back in, my equation is y equals 2x. It passes through the origin because my y-intercept is 0. So this is a direct proportion. Number 9, the table represents a linear function whose equation is y equals 3x plus 2. The total cost y of renting a video game from Blockbuster. Find the cost of renting 4 games. So y equals 3 times 4 plus 2. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 plus 2 is 14. Number 10. A cheetah can run extremely fast. This graph shows the distance in miles that a cheetah can run in X hours. What does the slope of the graph represent? Well, the slope is going up 20, to the right 1, so the cheetah's rate of speed is 120 miles per hour. Kim and Dan's both rake leaves to make extra money, and each charges an hourly rate. Kim charges, her equation is y equals $6.25 x, so she charges $6.25 per hour. Dan charges 24 minus 12 over 4 minus 2. 24 minus 12 is 12. 4 minus 2 is 2. So that is $6 per hour. They do not charge the same rate, so it can't be D. His is cheaper than hers, so it can't be A or B. Our answer is C. He is 25 cents cheaper than Kim. All right, our next page, number 12, initial value of this graph. We know that initial value is where the graph crosses the y-axis. It's our y-intercept. When x is 0, the y here is 30. Is this graph a direct proportion? It does not pass through the origin, so no, because it doesn't pass through the origin. But again, that type of question is for Unit 6. All right, Sally is painting her bedroom. She pays $32 for materials. So before she does anything else, she's paying $32. She pays a friend $8 per hour and spend a total of $76. We subtract 32 from both sides and get 44 equals 8x. When I divide by 8 on both sides, I see that her friend works 5.5 hours. All right, number 14. Which point is the car stationary? Again, this is a preview for Unit 6, but we are going to talk about it. Between point B and C and E and F, she's not going up and down. That means she's not covering any miles. But time is passing. So the car is stationary between B and C and E and F. Letter B, between which point does the car travel the fastest? That's which point has the steepest slope, and that is between D and E. C, what is the rate of change for the first 80 minutes? So I'm looking right here in this area. I'm going up 60 to the right 80, so that's 60 over 80, which simplifies to be 3 over 4. She's going 3 miles in 4 minutes. How long does it take the car to reach point E? That would be 220 minutes. Number 15. Jack drives home for spring break with a given graph, which of the following statements is true. A, in 4 hours, Jack has 400 miles left. That is not true. He has 300 left. Rate of change is in hours per mile. No, we travel miles per hour. That is not true. At 10 hours, he has 0 miles left to drive. Well, that one is true, but let's double check D. At 0 miles, he has driven 500 miles, 500 hours? No. At 0 miles, he has driven no hours. He still has 500 miles to go. And number 16. Match the graph to each situation. This is, again, preview for Unit 6, but just so you have it. Tom walked to the store at the end of his street, bought a newspaper, and then ran all the way back. So he's walking, he's staying at the end of his street, and then he's running back. That would be graph 3. 17, Tom went out for a walk with some friends. He suddenly realized he had left his wallet behind. He ran home to get it, then had to run to catch up with others. He walked with his friends, ran home, then ran back. That is graph 2. Tom walked slowly along the road, stopped and looked at his watch, realized he was late, then started running. He's walking, he is stopping to look at his watch, and then he's running to get to where he needs to be. That is graph 1. Number 19, we have discrete and continuous. This is another preview, so we will talk about that when we get to Unit 6. Go on to number 20. Circle the graph below that corresponds to the following situation. Deshaun builds up his speed in the beginning of the race and then maintains his speed for the remainder of the race. That is graph 1. The graph to the right shows the relationship between the number of hours a plumber works and the amount of money he charges. According to the graph, how much will the plumber earn in 3 hours? After 3 hours, he's made $175. What is the plumber's hourly rate? After 1 hour, he's made $75, but he started off at $25. That's how much he makes. Before he does any work, he gets $25. So to get from this point to this crosshair, we're going up 50 to the right 1. So he earns $50 per hour. Remember to study for the cumulative review of this section that encompasses units 1 through 4. And one other thing you need to remember how to do is how to isolate a y variable. So if we have 4x plus 8y equals 16. To get y by itself, we have to move 4x to the other side. In order to do that, we subtract 4x. 4x minus 4x leaves me with 8y. 16 minus 4x, these are not like terms, so I just write them beside each other, keeping minus 4x a negative, and 16 will be plus 16. I have to get rid of this 8. To get 8 away from 8, I do the inverse operation, which is dividing. That leaves me with y on the left side. Now I have negative 4 divided by 8. Negative 4 divided by 8 simplifies to negative 1/2. If it is a fraction, leave it in the most simplified fraction. Keep your x with your slope. Plus 16 divided by 8 is 2. So we're going to write that as a whole number. And of course, if you were to graph that, this number, including the sign in front of it, is where the graph crosses the y-axis. And the number in front of the x tells you the numerator is how far up or down you're going to move. The denominator is how far to the right you're going to move. So for this graph, you would start at 2 on the y-axis, and then you would move down 1 and to the right 2 to plot your next point. If you have any questions about that, please see me in class.